Victor Cruz, the Giants wide receiver, had a big game against the Cowboys in that loss. He joins us now, Dan Patrick Show. After the loss, what hurts today?
Just my, being able to score all those points and score all those touchdowns and not come out with a victory. I mean, that hurts. I mean, having 6 turnovers is definitely not going to win you a ball game. But to come out and in that second half and really, prove that you are a dynamic offense and put a lot of points up on the board and have a lot of yardage was definitely good to see. But we don't have a victory to show for it, so that definitely hurts.
So your feelings are hurt, not your body.
Exactly.
Well, what was it like to watch the tape of the game?
It was rough initially. Obviously, with the turnovers and things like that, watching that over again was definitely tough. But, there was a lot of positives that came from it, too. We definitely passed the ball very well. Moving forward, we ran the ball, in certain spots we ran the ball very well, and there were some positives there as well.
Okay, but it just was so sloppy there in the first half. What was halftime like with Coach Coughlin?
Yeah, it wasn't very fun. He wasn't too fond of our play in the first half, and he wanted us to go out there and change it immediately. So we went out, and in that second half, you saw a different ball club. But it was tough to build the momentum and to build the rhythm early on when you had that many turnovers. So it was definitely tough to kind of climb back from that.
And you lose the game in Dallas. You come home and you got Peyton Manning and the Broncos coming to town. Will Eli talk about Peyton at all? Will he give the defense any tips on how to stop his brother?
He might. This would be my first time. Really my second time, but my first real time of being a starting wide receiver with Eli when he goes up against his brother. So, it'll be the first time to see how he approaches it and things of that nature. But, we'll see. We're definitely going to need, every tip possible to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to playing against Peyton Manning. So whatever we have, whatever we can use, obviously defensively will be key for us to win the ballgame.
All right, let me put you in Eli's position. Let's say you were facing your brother, or somebody was going to say, "Can we get information on your brother?" and he was going to be the opposition. Would you cough up information on your brother in order to beat him?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a game. This is a game where you have to, you have to win the ball game. I mean, this is your career. This is what you do, is win football games, and you need every advantage you can to have to win the ball game. I mean, it's not like you're telling on them or, we're not 8 years old again and we're telling them who spilled the milk. It's more so, trying to get an advantage on your opponent and trying to figure out ways that you can help your team win that ball game.
Did you watch the Eagles last night?
I did.
What'd you think?
It's interesting. It's definitely, LaShawn McCoy is a heck of a running back, man. He was out there making plays all over the field, making guys miss, really setting the tempo for the game. And it's an interesting offense. It's really going to be, fun to see how it plans out. It's just one game, so we want to see how defenses can adjust to it, including ourselves when we see them twice, obviously, this year. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it unfolds throughout this course of the season.
He's the Giants' Victor Cruz joining us, Dan Patrick Show. But that style of offense, is it a fad, or do you think that it's a trend?
I think it's a trend. I mean, you see it in, the Redskins run an offense similar to that. San Francisco's running something similar to that. Carolina runs a spread offense as well. Kind of that read option. It's definitely a trend right now, and I think it's definitely one that's growing. But, we'll see how it unfolds. I mean, defense is going to have to adjust somehow, some way, and we'll figure it out.
You look at these defenders now, Victor, and if I was a defender, I wouldn't know where I could hit an offensive player. If I hit you high, I know I'm going to be fined, maybe suspended. Now they're saying, well, we're going to go low, or can we go low? As a wide receiver, what is fair to you for these defenders of where they can hit you and where they can't?
I think it's got to be, above the knee, from knee to shoulder. I think if you go, and that's a lot of room, above the knee all the way up to the shoulders. I mean, that's a ton of room. I think that's definitely a lot of area for you to cover, area for a guy to hit, for a guy that's coming full speed. He can, he can see that area, right before he hits you, and he can aim at that. I mean, obviously there's a ton of rules nowadays with hitting, a defensive player or receiver or quarterbacks and hitting high, hitting low. There's definitely a lot of rules to that, which makes it difficult for a defensive back. But I think if you just go from knee to shoulder, I think you'll be fine.
You know what it's like in February in the New York area? So what are you expecting when you guys are playing in the Super Bowl? What kind of weather?
I know one thing. I know it's going to be cold. I just hope it doesn't snow. Oh, there's no, rain, torrential downpours or anything like that. If it's just cold, I can take that. But it's definitely going to be fun. It feels like one of those old days from back in the day when it's, the 1940s and you're playing 50s and you're playing those games at, Giants games, Yankee Stadium and things like that. It's definitely going to be fun to watch and fun to play in, hopefully.
Last time you talked to Jay-Z?
Last time I spoke to Jay-Z was yesterday to talk about the game a little bit.
Okay, what did he want to know?
Nothing. I told he's a Cowboy fan, but he said he's a Victor Cruz fan when we're playing the Cowboys. But whenever we're not playing the Cowboys, he'll be a Cowboy fan after that. But we just spoke about the game a little bit, and he's traveling a little bit now, so that's all we spoke about briefly yesterday.
I know you're working with Advil. I'll let you get the plug in before I send you off to practice.
Yeah, I'm working with Advil in the Relief and Action campaign, which celebrates volunteers who don't let pain stop them from helping others in need. This campaign is close to my heart because I'm always giving back, especially with the work I did with the Boys and Girls Club, which embodies the fact that no matter what you're doing, no matter how tired you are, you can always help others that are in need and that are, more tired than you are and things of that nature. So you can get more information on it by checking out @Relief in Action on Twitter and #Relief in Action for a ton of information that you need on that topic and on that campaign.
Good to visit with you again, Victor. Have fun against the Broncos. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it.
Giants wide receiver Victor Cruz on the program.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.